Cleo, it's a pleasure to be here. Exciting, we get a chance to show players or viewers more of our fantastic game, Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited to show you a little more about this fantastic overworld here. So we're in an overworld that's called Brünnelsumpf. It is a sort of swampy, marshy, wetlandy sort of place. And let's have a look around.
So this is a kind of, swampy, marshy, and this is one of 4 overworlds in the game, each with their own distinctive kind of art style, very comic book, cel shady, beautiful looking environments, aren't they?
Thanks so much. Yeah, they are. I'm so impressed by the art team, and it's just so beautiful with the colors and everything. Our co-founder Regina, art director, is just so good with these color combinations and the beauty of all of this.
Stunning.
So let's have a look over here at this dungeon portal. So that's where you would enter a dungeon. Right now we're in an overworld, so dungeons would be where you do a lot of puzzling and combat, but there's also some puzzling and combat in overworlds.
Sure.
As you can see from these 3 very nice people over here, they're called Nix, and Nix are sort of creatures from Austrian mythology. As you can see, they don't look very friendly, so let's think about our strategy a little bit here. I'm a cozy gamer, so I'd like to think stuff out a little bit before I enter the combat arena.
Very wise.
I have potions slotted on my lower left, which in my case it's for MP because HP, not MP. So you can have MP potions as well, but I've chosen to go with HP because that's where I suffer the most. On my lower right, you will see attack conduits.
Cool.
So I have whirlwind. I'll explain those later once we start combating. Let's just go for it.
So there are lots of enemies in the game. And each have their own different abilities and attack styles. So that'll be fun to explore and sort of experience for the players.
Absolutely. So look at this. What's happening here is I just trap them in a jelly block, and I then zap them with our plasma ball.
Cool. So there's some tactics there. Players will be using not only their melee weapons but also magic to defeat enemies. That's one of the really cool aspects of the game.
Yes, it really is. I really like that you can play in all sorts of different ways. So someone who's more of a hardcore gamer, midcore gamer, or lightweight can have a different experience. For me, I'm just really enjoying myself in these overworlds, and let's just say that combat and we get along sometimes. So this is a flame-throwing Irrlicht, and Irrlicht is an Austrian version of the Will-o'-the-Wisp. As you can see, it's very aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's throwing a lot of flames here. So I'm going to burrow underground with my other attack conduit, Burrow, here. And as you can see, once I've used that, it sort of depletes itself for a while. So I can't use it immediately after, so I have to figure out something else. This Irrlicht is relentlessly pursuing me. That's awesome. So I'm going to throw my whirlwind that I mentioned earlier at him. And yeah. Whew.
Well done. Good work.
Thank you. I did my best. So we're picking up little loot here, monster parts, and those are the broken off pieces of those monster masks you see them wear. All our monsters are based on Alpine mythology, and so you'll see this sort of recurring theme of Alpine mythological creatures or references, are versions of them.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool aspect of the game, that. And speaking of which, there's a person over there.
Yes, there is. So we have lots of different NPCs in the game, and some you'll develop deep friendships with. With this particular one, I'm not sure how deep the friendship will go. Probably not so very deep, but we can give it a try. So when you go to the village, it's a little more involved. There you make friends in the night and stuff. But here you say, want to find out a little more about what to do in the overworld. So he's telling you that he'd like to rent a kayak, but he doesn't have the access to do that yet.
Okay.
I do, however,
That's
because I've
lucky.
already picked up. Well, it's because I picked up my
Ah,
magic
okay.
skills earlier.
And what I love about the social aspect of the game is that the story unfolds as you meet these people, and not only the story, and which is very intriguing, but you get rewards as well, don't you? Which is fantastic, and that'll help you in the game.
Yeah, I think it's something that's really fun to get through as well. You saw that skill shrine over there. It's where you pick up your magic skills. I just wanted to quickly show that. And here, let's cross over to where we see those monsters lurking at the dungeon portal. Oops, almost missed that. But luckily we made it. So let's introduce ourselves to these kobolds with the bat. Behind them are Stallwichtel, stable gnomes, that will attack you with pitchforks when they get too close. And basically these are smaller enemies, but they're also kind of fierce in combination. I would say the kobold is your intro monster, but they can be rather mean, especially in groups. So let's have a go at this.
And they level up as well, do they? The enemies that there comes this more difficult variants of each type of enemy.
Yeah. You can find different levels of different enemies. So the
Cool.
same kobold in one area might not be the same as
Cool.
the kobold in another area. I've just thrown a little toy there.
Cool, yeah.
It's an attack conduit as well. And you see that kobold is actually panicking because I've been so fierce. Makes me feel good about myself. So there we go. We've dispatched that one. One more left. Oh no, there's another wave.
Another wave.
There's another wave, and this wave is pretty fierce, so I'm going to burrow underground with my attack conduit. And you see that magic shield around one of the enemies, the Bush Weibchen. She's a sort of witch character, and she actually is protected by magic, so you have to get that shield down before you can affect her health.
Okay.
So she's pretty mean. She throws these poison toadstools and we have to dodge them. You don't want to blunder into that pile of poison, as I just did. And you see that drop that just disappeared. That would have been a useful MP drop, which would recharge the magical skills I'm using. Again, I trapped her in the jelly block, and I zapped her with the plasma ball. The sword isn't going to help me so very much with that magical damage against her, but I'm doing my best. And sometimes you need to recharge your MP. Sword attacks will help you do that. Drops will help you do that, but you have to really budget your MP. And yes, I got my MP drop
Nice.
there.
So-
Yes, finally.
So there's it's not just a hack and slash game, is it? There's
No.
strategy there, combination of the magic and your weapons. Obviously you can upgrade your weapons and upgrade sort of your magic as well,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah, no, you can upgrade all sorts of things, and you can sort of affect how you go through the game depending on what stats you level up. We'll talk a little bit of that more later as well. But there's various ways of playing this game, yeah. So let's have a look here, and I just want to mention the audio here. You may hear that it just changed to a sort of mysterious sound, and we're working with an awesome audio studio, Wobbler Sound, and they're doing some incredible work because they really hint at different things through their audio that you will see in different parts of the game.
Cool. It's blended beautifully, isn't it? It's a bespoke soundtrack designed specifically for the game, and the way it's mixed and it really kind of captures the mood of these environments and the different situations, which I think is really fantastic.
Absolutely, I really love it, and I also love that the battle theme is reflecting the overworld theme or the dungeon theme. Wherever you are, there's some relationship between those themes. So full disclosure, I'm also a musician, and I might nerd out about this at some point and do a full analysis of what they've done, but for now I'll spare you all because I think no one really feels like hearing that on this stream.
No, they do. And what I love is that you can there's so many options in these overworlds, and they're not a linear experience. You can choose where you want to go at any time. So you could have gone into that dungeon right there, but we've decided to go in a different direction and maybe explore another area of the overworld, which is gives players a lot
Absolutely.
of freedom, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So the reason I didn't go into the dungeon is because I really wanted to focus on this overworld for all of you today. We're at the kayak rental, which is great because I can grab any kayak I like, apparently. Get in. It's important first step. All right, so let's take a little cruise. Which island shall we go to? And I am going to think here. I don't want to go there because there are a lot of enemies. We just battled some and I only have 4 potions left. So why don't we go here? This is one of my favorite islands in this overworld. And it's really, really nice. It's, I guess, more of a relaxed island. So let's go here. And relaxing is... Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
You mentioned that puzzles are obviously a big part of the dungeons. I mean, they feature heavily, don't they, in the dungeons? But they also sort of open out into these overworlds as well. So players will have to use kind of their magic abilities and their skill and know-how to get sort of traverse and fully explore these overworlds. And you reward them for that as well, right? There's lots of hidden collectibles like you just saw there. Chests and all sorts full of wonderful things.
Absolutely. What I really like here is that basically I was just going to mention relaxing, and that is that Luisa's here to relax, our main character. She's a burnt out lawyer and she's come to Hinterberg to rediscover herself while discovering all these awesome things in the dungeons and all this magic. She's actually also trying to find her path again because she wants to redefine who she is a little bit, maybe find what means something in her life. And I really relate to that, Tim.
I think we all do, to some extent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You just
I mean,
used the switch there, didn't you, with your magic as
I
well?
did.
So that's key to the game, isn't there? There's lots of switches and levers and platforms and lifts and stuff like that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, so there are puzzles and there's these sort of mini puzzles. I'm not even sure if I would call them puzzles, these moments where you need to use your skills in an overworld or a dungeon. And so I find those moments quite fun.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it stumps you for a little bit, but then you feel this little aha moment. I love that aha moment when I figure something out. So here, I know the answer, but maybe someone watching doesn't. So there's a skill that I can use to get across here, and I'm going to use the jelly block here because I know I can step on it. So this way, rather than jumping into the muddy swamp water, I'm going to do that instead. Probably safer.
And you know, it's amazing the level of detail, and obviously there's a lot of passion that's gone into the game. You're quite a small team, aren't you? There's only 9 of you, is there?
Yeah, there is only 9 of us. I'm the producer. We have 2 co-founders, Philip and Regina. They're in charge of the game, and we have some excellent team members. So everyone is just such a hard worker and so creative, and you really feel that in the game. You feel those individual touches and flavors. But what I like about us too is that we also work pretty synergistically, so it all is cohesive as well. So that's nice.
So here we are. We're at the bottom of a huge lighthouse, and that plays a part in one of the kind of puzzles. I don't want to give too much away, but there's definitely meaning.
But that's okay. So yeah, you're right. It does play a part. So let's open up a part of that with our magic skill, the plasma ball. We light up a lighthouse, and it sends out a beam of light that's suspiciously prominent, and it goes to an island that you, as a player, may want to visit. I, as a dev, may not want to visit it because I might want to show you something else. But it's a strong hint to head to that area, I would say. Check out what's going on there. Let's take advantage of this all-access pass thing again, because we found another kayak, but we're allowed to use it, so let's go. And off we go.
And players can Nice. And players can move freely between the overworlds, can't they? And they can tackle the dungeons that they kind of want to and explore at their own sort of leisure, which is a really nice aspect to the game.
Yeah, there are harder and easier areas. So the game sort of tries to indicate that to you, and maybe someone might suggest that you try this dungeon first. But yeah, you have a lot of freedom as well to explore in different orders or different ways. So as I mentioned before, probably cozy gaming, that's something for me. So I'm finding a lot of value in this sort of relaxed aspect of the game, that I can chill out, that I can look at different parts of the overworlds and dungeons. And I might, for example, want to go into a dungeon and only do part of one, and I reach a way stone and then come back. But some other people, they want to blast through and do a dungeon every day. That's cool too.
Yeah. That's a skill, I think. That's a skill that you guys have really perfected. It's going to appeal to lots of different types of gamers. Players with different abilities and different kind of play styles. I think we'll find something in your game that's that they like and enjoy.
I really think so. It's a very charming game, and it's also something that mirrors real life in the sense of your vacation or your experience is what you make of it. So I'm making what I want of it, and I might do things that other people don't do, and vice versa. Maybe someone else is not going to be as obsessed with relaxing as I am. Maybe they'll be much more into finding every encounter, getting every dungeon as quickly as possible. And there's sort of an overarching main storyline, so it's not like you're just sort of coming here to hang out. You're here with a purpose, no matter how you play it. And you level up your social relationships, and you really talk to people, meet them, and there's value in those relationships. Different relationships give you different rewards, but also slightly different experiences.
Yeah. I love that. I really love that about the game. I think it's really unique in that respect.
Yeah, I really like that too. So here I just I wouldn't go as far as to call this a puzzle, but I just got on the jelly block to reach that inaccessible ladder up there. And right now I'm just gonna have a look at this lighthouse because I noticed a treasure chest there and I want what's inside it. So let's go. Right.
And you can fast travel around the world as well, can't you? There are fast travel points.
Yeah, we passed a few of those.
Yeah.
So here I've gotten myself 5,000 Hinterbucks, and I can buy a lot of gear and things with that. So I'm very happy because I've just leveled up my economy dramatically. I had 486 beside that today. So I tend to spend a lot unwisely.
Well,
that's another strategy thing.
Yeah.
I want to spend more wisely than I do.
Well, who doesn't like a bit of retail therapy after a hard day slaying monsters? It's the perfect way to unwind for me, anyway.
That's a great ad for Hinterberg, Tim. I think you should be the ad executive for our village ad agency. So here we are at this scenic spot, and we have a few of these in the game. And so let's say you're like me and you like the cozy game style. You can spend a day just hanging out, and there are various social stats that you can replenish or build up in different ways. This one is relaxing, so this would be probably for relaxation. So let's see. Looks like a good spot to rest for an afternoon and just take in the scenery. I could stay here and not do a dungeon today. It'd probably increase my relaxation, and staying out in the cold rain could raise my physical defense. So if I stay here, I'm gonna raise those stats. So there are some primary stats and some other stats. The social stats are familiarity, renown, relaxation, and amusement. So relaxation is a big one because some people in the village only want to talk to you if you're relaxed enough, for example. And there are other villagers that want to talk to people with more renown. You'd get renown by beating a lot of dungeons, for example, so they know you've faced off against a lot of enemies. So your experience is also shaped by your choices. So maybe I want to make friends with the relaxed people in the village rather than the fame seekers. Or maybe I want to make friends with both. That's my choice. And I really like that because you know, there are also these characters that will talk to you anytime, so you always have something to do. And they're all very different. So,
No,
yeah.
I love that. I love that about the game. There's so many big personalities in and around in the town, aren't there? That people are going to have a lot of fun, kind of exploring those relationships. It's fantastic, and there's lots going on, but it's all very accessible, which is really cool. The way in which it's designed is brilliant.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much, Tim. Like, let's go back and wrap this up.
It's been a pleasure.
And it's been a real pleasure. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Theo. Bye bye.